So I'm recording on my phone. Excuse the quality because it will be extremely shit. Yeah, my phone, my camera isn't, the greatest. It's a GoPro, so it's absolute rubbish. So, but anyway, we're on to, the third week. Well, not third week, fourth week actually. No, Jesus Christ. No, not fourth. Third.
Oh, you silly man.
Yeah, third week. So, third week, and I'm going to be talking about rest days. So, as a person myself, I go extremely heavy on certain exercises, and I like to build muscle, I like to build strength, and I'm pretty sure you watching this are, very similar to me. You want to, build muscle, you want to gain some more strength, but what is really the secret? You're probably thinking, is it the juiciness? Is it apple juice? Maybe. But the very big thing about, building muscle is the recovery. Hence why rest days are a thing. So, for me personally, I don't have a rest day. So I still exercise on my rest days. So my rest days are Wednesday and Sunday. Wednesday being I do MMA on Wednesday, and that's kind of like a form of cardio, seeing as I'm drenched in my sweat and other men's sweat, which unfortunately sounds a bit, how do I say this? Elton Johnny, if you get my drift. But, and then when it's Sunday, I'm not in church, don't worry. I'm mainly doing cardio, and I do an hour of cardio now. So I used to do half an hour, now I'm doing an hour. So it's just to not only keep my fitness up, so I don't get any cardiovascular issues, and also in terms of trying to stay relatively lean, not be too fat, and make this all the only bit of detail I have go away. So that's kind of why I do on my rest days. But you're probably wondering, how many rest days should I initially have? But the question you should be really thinking about it, where am I at my progression in my gym journey? Now, for beginners, it's kind of you can go to the gym practically every day and not really see much, drawbacks. But as soon as you get more mature into lifting, then those problems really do come about. Because I remember when I used to train 6 times a week, which was push pull legs, and then rest, and then push pull legs, and then rest. I figured, because I went so hard on legs, so to the point where I could not walk properly out of the gym. I looked like I was a victim of the prisons. But in any other way, I took out that other leg day, and I kept one leg day at a time. Now, did this increase the size of my legs initially? Not really, but it helped me manage my fatigue, and I could actually squat more, which was kind of the objective at the time. And I wanted to get bigger and stuff, and because at the time particularly my legs kind of outmatched my upper body, so I focused more on my upper body. And then it was only in recent times, so probably, let's say a year ago or more, I started putting squats on my push day. So I got a whole new program, because I've been through several programs. Some definitely have worked, some haven't. That's the kind of thing you gotta do. You need to persevere and see what works. So I train 5 times a week. Now, some people train 4, because the very thing you need to think of is, how much time do I have in the gym? If you have 2 hours or more, you could probably get away with 4 times a week, and have 3 rest days. Because think about the amount of volume you're doing in one day. If you have more than 2 hours, you're doing a lot of volume, and you think, yeah, I need to rest. So those days you can basically have a vacation. So, and then there's people who train 5 times. So I'm one of them. I train 5 times. I have different days for different things. And I structure myself around that, and that's really what gets me my progress, because by structuring myself around things and then still being active throughout the week, not only am I able to, recover, but almost recover faster, because in a way, I know cardio is a big issue for some people, just like leg day. Cardio allows blood to be pumped around the body, which allows for, nutrients to be pumped around the body, which in turn helps you heal. And, when it comes to your heart, it's probably the most, probably the most important muscle in your body, because it keeps you alive. And your brain, of course. So focus on your brain, focus on your heart, Don't do things like drugs or alcohol that will affect these things. My personal bit of advice. And when it comes to doing your cardio, just an hour or half an hour will probably do. At least you're being a bit active, like a bit of activity will help, in terms of your everyday life. Because if you're just lifting and doing like, certain rep ranges, you're gonna have like a cardiovascular issue down the line, I swear. So when you get to that stage, you need to still have cardio even while you're bulking, because this whole thing of cardio kills your gains. If you're excessively running and just sprinting every day, yeah, you're gonna lose gains. So, but when it comes to just like basic, calm cardio, you'll be fine. It's what the pros do, and you don't see them losing muscle. So, but when it comes to rest days in general, just like pick which days are best for you. Let's say you have college 3 times a week, and then you like train around those kind of thing. Whatever really is your preference, because if it doesn't work, retry, reset, see what happens. Because I'm not you. I am not Jeremy. I'm not Asanya, or I'm not, Gigi, or some person from a different country. But your body reacts to certain things my body might not react to. And my body reacts to certain things that you might not react to. It's just, genetics. If you like higher rep ranges and it works for you, then it works for you. And if you require less rest days, then that's good for you. It's kind of like a balancing act and seeing what works for someone, but what also works for me. I'll try it out. If it don't work, cut it off, retry again. That's the whole like thing about, the gym and stuff. That's probably the most exciting bit about it, and just trying new things, see what it does. If it's successful, then stick with it. If you're getting bigger, you're getting stronger, then you're doing something good. So, but yeah, that'll be all for me talking about rest days. But today we'll be on to, week 3. So the week before I do like a 3 rep max kind of thing, blah, blah. But yeah, we got 200 kilos on the squat for 3. And we got 120 kilos for 3. Or for bench, primarily because I'm getting back into benching after a certain shoulder injury. And a deadlifts 220, which you'll see didn't really go to plan, because, our platforms are not really that good. So, yeah, unfortunately. But you will see, and I will talk you through it as usual. So enjoy, the explanation bits of the video and everything else. So I'm in the unfortunate circumstance of being confined to the reds, because there wasn't any blue plates around, which are 20 kilos, the reds are 25s. So 200 on the bar, fairly easy, in depth each time, so nothing really to worry about when it comes to form. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. And then I did 170 afterwards, just took off the 15 and thought, yeah, I'll stick at that. But these are just regular reps for this week, because
when it comes to trying to get stronger, you need your back downs, but also you need your top set. So like your top set be like, let's say 200 right here, and you go down to 170. Not only does it like build up, the muscles and stuff, but also you feel a lot stronger by, doing a back offset. So I don't know if they're called back offsets and stuff, but when you lower the weight and start doing more reps, and then just like keep it at that. But these back offsets, will inevitably help me to, become stronger, because you'll see as time goes on, these back offsets will also increase in weight because I'm getting stronger. Because once you get used to, let's say 170 for 5, then you can go a bit up. It's like you're constantly progressing, and with this, I am constantly progressing. I'm trying to get better than last week, because I think I did 170 last week, and or a bit less, and it didn't really go well. But today it really went well. So it's at least a bit of progress, which is what we're trying to look for. So you've got to keep that in mind. Now to 120. 120 for me is still, a bit foreign territory, because I haven't touched a weight of 220 in a while, so it's kind of like, still trying to get used to the weight and, feel very confident. But with this, it genuinely felt, alright, I didn't feel any restrictions, I didn't really feel much difference, but I've definitely, thought of, maybe my upper body strength should be more focused now, because what I'm finding is that, I'm kind of limited by, my kind of like chest. I don't know, but it's definitely not my leg drive that's really, the problem at the moment, because I think I've got it locked in at the instant leg drive now, so mostly. But when it comes to upper body strength, I might be slacking behind just because of what's happened, but that's to be expected. So, but it all looks good in terms of benching. So it looks like 125 or 122 will be the next weights next week. So all fun and games. So, and hopefully, I get it. I mean, you get stronger. But anyway, doing some incline press, just fairly okay weight. I really felt a bit fatigued after, everything, but hopefully by this whole bench volume stuff, I'm not overexerting myself. So hopefully by having that incline press, I'm not inevitably screwing myself. And with the added bench volume, I'll get stronger, which is the whole reason why I'm doing it. So just like I said, you need to adapt and improve on what you already have. If it isn't working, it isn't working. So, but I think it's working genuinely now, so we'll have to see. And now to chest flies to build some nice sets of titties. If you can't get titties, make your own. Quote me on that. Because, let's be honest, if you've got no game, you might as well make your own, set of, voluptuous, breasts that you can look at and think, damn. I mean, I might be slightly weird by saying that, but I think it's pretty cool to have a big chest. So, and hopefully that day will come at some point, because my chest isn't really, I wouldn't say a highlight of my physique. I'd say it's more of a back burner, but yet again, a lot of things need to get bigger. So, it's inevitable at this point. So, just gotta keep training it. But next we'll be on to triceps. I'm doing single arm push downs now because genuinely, well, double arm push downs
severely regretting
because I can full stack this machine, which isn't really that hard. But yeah, I'm just trying to like activate my triceps through different ways. So like I'm doing like a push down movement here, but then I'll be doing an extension movement, which I only got like one recording of. But it gets the tricep at different angles, and primarily because I don't like the overhead stuff because it like pushes your body at such a, you know, angle and risk and stuff. I'd rather, you know, do skull crushers if anything. So, but yet again, you know, just tricep push downs felt fairly easy. You know, well, I wouldn't say easy. I definitely, you know, felt it in the moment and in the morning. So, but it's about getting the, you know, the stimulation and stuff, and seeing if it, you know, actually does anything, because I can do this movement say 1,000 times, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like I just said, you need to look back, see what works, and if it doesn't, you need to look at it again. Try and do your own little bits of research, like I do. You know, if I'm struggling with a certain movement and I'm like, is it really benefiting me? I look online, see if it's look at multiple sources, and think, is it really doing me justice? No, then I'm kind of going to get rid of it. So it's all about, you know, balance and stuff. But hey ho. But yeah, then going on to extensions, then posing. So you get to see the posing, because even though I'm technically a power builder, I still like having a good physique. I like being strong and looking, you know, having a good physique. I wouldn't say looking good, because I'm not technically lean enough to look good nowadays, but I like being, you know, muscular and stuff like that. So, you know, but you'll inevitably see, you know, shoulders are quite good, arms are okay. They just need a bit more, you know, like in terms of, you know, just a bit more exercise and stuff like that. Chest looking okay, and yeah, the rest of the body looking fairly decent. And seeing as we're at the end of this, we'll go on to deadlifts. So deadlifts, as you can see, I got 220 on the bar. I did struggle a bit, primarily because this platform is very bouncy and I've got bumper plates on. So, and also I hate what my friend does, which is pull from any position. So it could be to the side and he just pulls it anyway, which puts you at risk of injury. And I'd rather, you know, pull with, you know, certainty I'm not going to hurt myself and, you know, inevitably be out of lifting for a while. So I just, you know, pace myself and try and do my best. And then I go down to 180, which was fairly easy. I mean, 180 is pretty much, you know, regular weight at this point. But yeah, when it comes to, you know, deadlifts, it's looking pretty good. We'll just have to see on the day, because this is a rehash of the last, you know, last block technically, because I couldn't do my deadlifts because I don't know, my body just was like, nah. But anyway, on to Pendlay rows. Yet again, another movement that's pretty good for deadlifts. It just gives you that, you know, posterior chain, it stimulates that, as well as you know, your explosive power from the bottom. Because yeah, you may look like a chimpanzee, you know, throwing a tantrum, but you know, as long as you're not slamming it into the floor and then picking it back up again, slamming it into the floor, picking it back up again, you know. But if you're doing it just like regularly, then, you know, it'll give you that, you know, power boost that you'll need in terms of deadlifts. So yeah, all that being said, power movements are over. Now it's the hypertrophy movements of latissimus pull down. So I'm trying to get those wide ass lats and, you know, try and get wider. I want to have the wingspan of Michael Phelps, but lats, sheer lats. I want to, you know, be able to fly. That's how big my lats should be. So hopefully by doing some lat pull downs and, you know, stuff like that, doing lat pullovers, you know, I'll be able to, you know, expand my lungs and fly away, or whatever they say. But yeah, lat pull down, fairly easy, fairly common in most people's workouts. I mean, it's pretty much essential because, you know, if you want a wider back, you got to stimulate the lats, which you know, basically the things that poke out on the sides. So yeah, and then we're going on to rows, which we'll do lat pullovers afterwards because it is a busy gym that I go to, so it's whatever you can get really. So but yeah, when it comes to rows, just you know, squeezing. And yet again, with different attachments a person can have, you know, you can have many ways of, you know, trying to get your traps and stuff. I prefer, you know, this bar that I've got here, which is like you know, a D handle, like wide grip thing. But yeah, I honestly prefer this to, like, you know, a straight bar or anything like that, because I can fully squeeze the trap together and slowly lay it down. I mean, if you look at the trapezius muscles fibers, it goes inwards. The fibers go inwards, and they at a certain angle, and that's a very big clue on how you should stimulate your muscles, because if you're doing it in the wrong way, so let's say if you're stimulating your lats by pulling from your side, just like pulling from your side, yeah, you'll activate it a bit, but you won't be activating at its maximum potential. So you've got to keep those things in mind. So I mean, when you see me doing lat pullovers here, it's in the direction of the lats fibers. The lats fibers are meant to, you know, pull down, pull towards, you know, and that's what the back muscles are for. They're to pull, you know, to pull backwards, and in order to make them stronger and bigger, you need to stimulate them in the ways they were intended. So yeah, I mean, same thing with traps, you know, just pull and stuff. And then with chest, it's like pushing movements, so using your, you know, chest and shoulders to push forward. And it's, you know, biology and biometrics, you know, all that kind of shit. But yeah, anyway, on to biceps. So for biceps, I typically do preacher curls like usual, primarily because I find preacher curls to be very, very good for me. I mean, probably could not apply to you, possibly, but I tend to find they're pretty good. And also, I like sticking to the basics. I don't like these whole, you know, mechanical, stupid machines that put you in a specific, you know, angle. Just do it with a dumbbell, because the fun things about like dumbbells and cables is that you are free moving, you know, you're like free moving. You don't have any restrictions like a machine does. Hence why I prefer more dumbbell, barbell, and cable movements, because I have that more or less freedom to do what I want. And some machines do have that, you know, that freedom to do whatever you want. So call me American, how I wanted this freedom. So but yeah, when it comes to just like overall bicep growth, I like, you know, dumbbells and, you know, the cables, because it just allows me to adapt my body to set position. I don't feel restricted in any way. So yeah, I mean, with preacher curl, I can lower the weight however I want, I can do the rep ranges however I want, I can keep a position, I can maintain a position, I can differentiate a position. It's all in good fun. And then with cable curls, which you'll see in a bit, I'll be doing it with one side primarily because it is a busy gym, as I've said, and you know, I'm not gonna, you know, try and intrude on other people's space, which is why I try and like keep my camera as close as I can, so I don't like intrude on anyone's space. And you know, when it comes to just like trying to get through a workout, I'd rather, you know, do at least something instead of just waiting around for so-and-so machine, because that'll just take forever in terms of, you know, just waiting for people, because people have a variety of rep ranges which last probably hours. But when it comes to just like biceps, I can just use one cable. It's not really much of a problem in terms of, like, you know, for me, you know, because I can get it done fairly quickly. I'm fairly quick when it comes to you know, my, you know, just my regular exercises, so there's no problem for me at the end of the day. So I got my stimulation up, to be fair, so I'm not really disappointed. But yeah, that's pretty much all for the workout, and then I've got posing at the end for the day, you know. But just keep in mind, you know, when it comes to your rest days, you know, try and, you know, think about what works for you. Yet again, training, what works for you, and, you know, keep pushing, because with everything, you know, in terms of muscle building, you know, everything to do with like fitness, it can all be adapted, and the science changes all the fucking time. Just whatever works for you, and it, you know, you should push forward in that. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of the video without my annoying voice. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for watching. And enjoy the posing at the end. Thank you.